Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Prophets and Current Prophets. Today we're talking about Micah, the prophet Micah, and Rigoberta Menchú Tum, who's a Guatemalan Indian woman who won the Nobel Prize. So, Micah was a prophet from a poor family in the countryside of Judah. He called for the people of Judah to become closer to God. Spoke out against the rich government in Judah, calling them out for their greed and corruption, saying that the poor and lower classes have the same rights under God, and no amount of money can change that. Rigoberta Menchú Tum was a Guatemalan Indian woman who dedicated her life to the rights of indigenous people in Guatemala. She was born into a world of violence at the point where she fled to Mexico to seek refuge. She came in contact with European leaders and negotiated peace with native people. She eventually became a UN ambassador for indigenous peoples, where she defends their rights. Now, these two have many things in common, such as both speaking out against corrupt governments and how the government has done wrong on certain groups of people. With Micah, it was the lower class and the poor people of Judah, saying that there would be punishment for the neglect that the leaders of Judah, Israel, caused upon them. And the same with Rigoberta. She was an indigenous person in Guatemala, and she spoke out against the violent, corrupt Guatemalan government to give rights to those who were neglected by that government. So that's one of the parallels. Another parallel is that they were both from a tough start. They had a tough upbringing. Rigoberta was born into violence and had nothing growing up and had to leave to Mexico to seek refuge from the violence in her home country. Micah was born into a poor family in a small town in the countryside of Israel, and he never really had much, and he noticed that there was nothing given to him because of who he was, and the corruption of those in power caused that. So, yeah. That was the second parallel. And a third parallel would be that they dedicated their lives to their work. Micah was saying that the Assyrians and the Babylonians would come on to Israel until the days he died. And he, unfortunately, like many other prophets, he was only believed after he was dead, and Assyria took over Judah, and then same with same with Babylon taking over. He called them on too. Nobody believed them, and then it happened in the Babylonian exile. One of the worst times in Jewish history. So yeah, and Rigoberta, after she fled Guatemala to Mexico, she was able to come in contact with European leaders, where she was able to become a UN ambassador, where for the rest of her life she served to ensure rights for indigenous peoples. So these two have many parallels, and I believe that Rigoberta Menchú Tum is a modern-day parallel of the prophet Micah from the Old Testament. That'll wrap this week's episode up. Look forward to seeing you guys next week when we talk about the next prophet, and next Nobel Prize winner that you can send in. Thank you, everybody, and signing off.